right, in a development that is taking place where the CBI is likely to question Chitra Ramakrishna in a co-location case where over the findings of the SEBI, which is order that mentions that during the investigation into the co-location facilities at NSE, they have come across certain documentary evidences which demonstrated that Chitra, who was the erstwhile MD and CEO of the National Stock Exchange, had shared certain internal confidential information of the NSE. And this is also coming at a time when the Income Tax Department also conducted searches at Chitra Ramakrishna's officials and her residence there in Mumbai, where it is also being said that the searches are aimed to check at the charges of certain tax evasion and financial irregularities against her, and also what is being said that very confidential information that has been shared by her. Let me go across to Shravan straight away. Shravan, there is a bizarre involvement of a said yogi also mentioned by her, and the investigation that is still taking place. What more do we know in the findings and also by the SEBI order, and also in the IT searches that had taken place?
Well, Amita, what's important to point out here is that there are multiple cases that are now being scanned by not just the Central Bureau of Investigation, but also the Income Tax Department. And as far as this mysterious yogi is concerned, that has come in the SEBI order, which is different than the cases that have come in. Now, let me just tell you where this particular case, the co-location case, comes from. The moment she had basically stepped down as the CEO and MD of NSE, the reason that was basically cited by Chitra Ramakrishnan was the fact that there were certain differences with the board of directors. After stepping down as the CEO and MD, there were several cases that came under the scanner, corruption charges that were basically leveled against her. This is soon after 2016. Now, as far as the co-location case is concerned, in which the Central Bureau of Investigation has now been working on for quite some time, we are now being told that perhaps it could even take place today, where the question could take place of Chitra Ramakrishna in a different case altogether. But certainly with the SEBI order now coming in which there is a huge question of propriety, there is a huge question of how exactly Chitra Ramakrishna was actually working between 2013 and 2016. And also the fact of the matter is that questions were basically raised about the appointment of the group operating officer. And the fact of the matter is that Anand Subramaniam, whose residences have also been searched by the Income Tax Department, his appointment has basically come under the scanner. This appointment was made by Chitra Ramakrishna herself. There was a huge jump in his remuneration also that had been questioned by the board of directors. And Chitra Ramakrishna's emails have basically been gone through or scanned by the SEBI, in which there is a reference of a yogi from whom she was basically taking instructions. There were dividend profits, all of that were being shared with the yogi. In fact, there were guidances that were basically being taken by Chitra Ramakrishna from this so-called spiritual guru that she was basically referring to. And she said that she has met this spiritual guru almost 20 years ago at the banks of Ganges. And the fact of the matter is that thereafter she had continued interacting with this spiritual guru over email, where she was taking specific instructions. But here you're talking about sensitive information that was being sent to this spiritual guru who hasn't been identified as yet.
All right. Shravan, thank you very much for joining in. This is the CBI, which is now likely to take up the investigation and to question Chitra Ramakrishna in the co-location case over the findings of SEBI. This is the order that mentions that during their investigation at NSE, they have come across certain documentary evidences which also demonstrated that Chitra Ramakrishna, who was the MD and the CEO of NSE, had shared certain confidential information.